Today's podcast is brought to you by Gaston Luga, a Swedish-designed lifestyle backpack. Go to www.gastonluga.com, use promo code DNC15 for 15% off your total purchase as well as free shipping. That's www.gastonluga.com. www.gastonluga.com. Peace.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I feel a bit more comfortable now that I can hear myself. So at least now I know where too far away is.
Joshuasimon.
Yeah.
Welcome to podcast number 19. Joshuasimon.
Have we started?
I'm so sorry the setup is not like what you're used to. I know you're very used to a mic stand and then all the gadgets around you.
No.
While you do your DJing.
No.
At Power Kiss 92.
How dare you? I'm not DeeKosh. Let's clear
I'm
this
so
up.
sorry.
But no, like I mean, I started off with the most primitive of everything. Like I started editing videos on Windows Movie Maker. I started recording remixes and mashups on YouTube using GarageBand and recording into my MacBook microphone. Like trying to find through the crack where the microphone is.
So you can understand my plight here.
There's a charm to it.
There's a charm to it.
There you go.
One day I'll have my own studio.
You will. And then you'll look back at today and then you'll be like, look how far I've come. and it's still going to be the same. You know, it's still going to, some things don't change.
Wow. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you.
Joshuasimon, sorry.
I love
Tongue
it.
Twister.
I everyone says my name a little bit differently.
But that's the proper way to pronounce your name, right? Joshuasimon.
You see, you're saying it in a way that that's also different from the way I hear it in my head, you know? Because you're saying, how do you say it?
Joshuasimon?
Joshuasimon, right? Joshuasimon. Like, I grew up with Joshuasimon,
Oh.
Zhao Xiang, you know? And then my mom called me Joshua.
Your mom's probably get it the right?
No, it's Joshua. Joshuasimon.
Do you have I mean, you're mixed Chinese and Indian.
Yes.
So, is there a Chinese name for you or an Indian name for you?
I have a horrible Chinese name. So my Chinese name is, and I never use it in class, it's Simon.
Oh, okay.
Simon Yesuya.
Yeah.
That just doesn't sound right. It's so much easier as
you
a
probably
Xiaoming.
save yourself from a lot of bullying from not
Xiaoting.
using the name.
Way, you know, like that would have been so much easier. My Tamil name, it's sort of like a middle name. It's Jayaraj. I used to find it really funny because people couldn't pronounce it right because everyone's called it Jayaraj, you know. But like Jayaraj it means victorious king, and that's there's this whole story behind why my dad chose that. But yeah.
Okay, so is Joshuasimon a name that you came up for yourself, or is it a combination of both?
It's my name. It's on my IC. It's Simon Joshua Jayaraj.
Okay.
So Simon is my last name, actually. It comes in first. So my dad's name is Simon. My name's Joshua. And Jayraj is like a middle name, but somehow it's thrown at the back. Up till like secondary school, it was Simon Joshua. Everyone just calls me Simon Joshua.
Is there a son of or
no? Because
last name?
So my dad grew up Hindu, and then he converted to Christianity. He's a pastor. So his name, he picked a name for himself, which was Simon. So we restarted everything. So he was like Simon S.O. Nagapan, you know? So then he changed it now. So now it's like a whole new generation. Now everyone's like my sisters, Lydia Simon, and then Magdalene Simon, and I'm Joshua Simon.
I was about to ask you if you had any siblings. So there's two sisters and you?
Yeah, two sisters and me. I'm the middle child. We're separated by 2 years. So it's Simon Joshua, but I changed it to Joshua Simon just to reverse it a little bit easier for people. But also like it sounds a little bit more powerful when you say Joshua Simon compared to Simon Joshua, because you end
rolls off your tongue.
Right.
Easier.
When you say Simon Joshua, it's an exhale and it's very calm, right? So when you turn it around, it ends with a stamp, you know, Joshua Simon. So I like that.
Nice. And why are you here and not celebrating Chinese New Year with your family?
I'm half Chinese, so most of the celebration's already done. No, like see, I don't know how like deep you want to go with this podcast. I'm trying to find like the right area to just sort of like.
You don't want to go too deep and then you can't come back.
I mean, I can if you want me to.
I don't mind.
How honest do you want me to be? Like
how honest you want to be on my podcast is up to you.
Okay.
Well, you can give a.
No, I'll tell you. Like I had a horrible night, a horrible reunion dinner, absolutely horrible. So, I'm closer to the Indian side in my family. So my mom's Chinese, so she's It's quite funny. It's Chinese New Year, and let me paint the picture for you, right? So it's our house. My mom is the only Chinese person in the whole house. I've got my aunts, I've got my nephews, my cousins are all there. My grandfather shows up. Everyone's Indian, and all the food, most of it is actually Indian food. So you have like mutton curry and chicken curry. So even if it's like Christmas, it's all Indian food.
There's no lo hei?
No, we didn't do the lo hei because they don't know what to chant.
Okay. Lo hei.
No one says lo hei.
Isn't that the chant?
They was like, yeah, good health,
Okay.
More money. Less problem, less bills. So they'll do stuff like that. And then my mom will prepare her ngo hiang, which is like the one Chinese thing. My uncle, right, my father's brother's side, right? My uncle, my aunt, and the 3 kids, they're this family that I was very close to growing up. So I grew up in a very, very strict Christian environment where a lot of, I can't do this, I can't do that. I wasn't allowed to listen to radio. I wasn't allowed to listen to pop music or watch movies.
Okay, I can see the rebelliousness how you turn out.
Right. And like everything, I kid you not, every movie that I watched was from the church library.
Okay.
So
up till what age?
Up till about like, I don't know, primary 4.
Okay.
I was the kid that was going around trying to save everyone and bring everyone to heaven. You know, I was that kid. But my uncle was the rebellious one. So I actually attribute all that I have, the rebellion that I have, the passion that I have, to my uncle, that side of the family. And they're the ones that would secretly give me like Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, Michael Jackson, and he would like turn up the car volume and blast Michael Jackson Dangerous, and then I'll secretly just not tell anyone, you know?
But why is that the culture in your family to not be able to be exposed to all that?
I mean, I understand now. I used to blame my parents for it, and I used to get very angry about it. You know, like, you shielded me from all the things that I love. But like, I understand now because they grew up with my grandfather, under my grandfather's reign. Like, my grandfather is, I hate to say this, but he is that cliche, angry Indian grandfather. Like, he's violent. Like, he beat my grandmother in front of us. He would chase my aunts around the house. He really is the stereotype, but so much worse than the stereotype. Stereotypes can be funny, but his stereotype was painful, and it was hard to watch. And thank God it didn't like leave anything on me. Of all things, it just told me that I'm not gonna be like that.
Just to bring this full circle, I saw your interview with Katy Perry.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and she went like, "Oh, I feel your pain," or "I understand you."
I understand you.
So,
yeah, because like Katie and I, our parents, our dads are pastors. So like when I brought that up, she just opened up, you know, and that like led the whole interview to where it went, very honest and real. And it really is true because we were not allowed to listen to all these things. And I understand because my dad wanted to shield me from it. My dad found solace and peace in Christianity. So he thought in his mind, I will not let you go elsewhere. You're just going to follow God's word. So that was it. So my uncle would secretly give me all this stuff. And growing up, he and my aunt were the people that like I clung onto. Is that word? Clung onto?
Clung, yeah.
Clung onto. Hold on to. And my parents, all of them didn't like them. They didn't like them, so they never get invited for Christmas. They don't get invited for Diwali or Chinese New Year. But then last night they were there, and I was so happy. You see, this is why I didn't want to bring this whole story up. See, now I'm gonna get emotional.
You're getting teary-eyed.
No, so they were there, and I was so happy, and I was having a conversation with them. And then my grandfather shows up, and I hate this guy. I absolutely hate this guy. And he shows up. I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna focus on the people that I care about. I'm gonna enjoy this Chinese New Year. I'm 27 years old. I'm not gonna bring all that pot. And then he starts scolding and yelling at my cousins, whom he's not seen in the longest time, over a miscommunication. So there's a couch, right? They're all sitting at. When my grandfather walked in, my cousins moved aside to give space for my grandfather to sit down. He didn't sit there, but he assumed they were disgusted by him and didn't want to come near him. So he just went on and started yelling at them. And I'm standing there in the middle, just trying to process all this because I don't understand.
This was yesterday.
This was last night, just a couple hours ago. And it's all in Tamil. I can't speak Tamil, but I can understand it a little bit growing up in that family, right? So he's saying all these things and I don't really understand, but I can tell it's about disgust and how it's a miscommunication. And I just turned to the other side of the house where all my aunts, my father, my sisters are there, and they're just frozen and no one is doing anything. No one is doing anything. And I'm turning to my dad. I'm like, can someone stop this? What's going on? Can someone do something about this? And no one's doing anything. So I stepped in and I just told my grandfather, and I said, like, this is the reason why I don't visit you. You don't come to my house and you don't do this. And then I just grabbed my cousins and I just hugged them, and they burst into tears. And my aunt burst into tears. And we had not even started dinner. This is like the start of our reunion dinner, and it became like this. And then I just couldn't take it. Like, I hugged them and I said, go to the dining room. We're going to get our food. We're going to eat. Let's just avoid this guy. There's enough rooms in this house. And then we just started our dinner, and that's it. And then after the dinner, I just went downstairs to the void deck, and I just like broke down. I was like, I cannot do this. I cannot. It's so rough. So I'm not doing Chinese New Year anymore. At least not for this season. Yeah.
But to me, despite the story you just told me,
yeah,
you wouldn't have turned out the way you are without all those things happening.
Yeah.
So you became who you are in spite of all that.
I like
you went through.
I like that you said in spite of, not because of.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we say, like, we look at like our horrible past or the things or the people that wronged us, and we think, oh, you know what, I have to thank them because of them I turned out to be. No, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. You would have been fine either way.
Yep.
And that was unnecessary. Just because you turned out fine, just because you came out on the other side, does not mean that you're going to turn around and say, hey, thank you. No, you don't.
Yeah, but it gives you the
yeah, it means I'm tough.
the fortitude, to be who you are.
Right.
Yeah.
I've always been tough, So I'm not going to turn back and say, thank you, grandfather,
Yeah.
But like, I don't want my cousins to go through this. I don't want my other kids who are in the house, who are all there watching all this unfold, and for them to think this is what family is like.
Yep. For myself, I grew up in a very nice family, a nice Muslim family.
That's nice.
But my dad, from when we are young, he has a tendency to say no to everything. Like even simple thing like riding a bicycle, or if I tell my dad I want to learn how to swim, his automatic reply will be no. But it's to me it's because I don't know if it's just a knee-jerk reaction or because he's worried of us getting hurt or for whatever reason. But to me, when I grew older as a teenager, I realized that I don't know a lot of things because my dad forbid me to do a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a point of time in my life where I had to tell him that I don't care, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And the first to me was when I told him I wanted to travel overseas by myself.
Wow.
It was very hard, but I managed to convince him, and I had to explain to him that I'm old enough. I'm your son, but I need to see the world. I cannot be.
Where did you go?
I think the first was Sydney.
You went to Sydney on your first solo trip?
Sydney, yeah.
Oh my god.
And just to see WWE.
No, I grew up a massive WWE fan.
Yeah, but I'm a wrestling fan, not a WWE fan. I like Japanese wrestling. There's a lot of WWE is not the only wrestling company in the world. There's like Japanese wrestling. I like the art of wrestling. So it's not just WWE has sort of tainted the way what a wrestling should be because of all the
it's entertainment.
It's World Wrestling Entertainment. It's not
right.
It's not even like World Wrestling Federation anymore. They removed the word wrestling, for sponsorship and all that. It affects how the public perceive them.
Sure.
So they had to stay away from wrestling and then call themselves like entertainment company.
Yeah.
And instead of wrestlers, they call themselves like superstars or whatever.
Right, but we had the good years, like we. Are you and I around the same age? I'm 20.
I'm 28.
You're turning 28 this year?
I've turned 28 this year.
Okay, so you're what, 1989?
1990.
Oh, is it the same year and I? I'm 1990 as well.
Oh, so yeah, 28 lah.
So you just...
No, we were both 28.
Okay, no, let's clear this up. You're only 28 when you pass your birthday.
No, my birthday is in January.
Really?
It was in January. 1990 is 28, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I turned 28 in June.
Okay, yeah,
Okay,
28
so
lah.
I'm still
28 years old.
I'm clinging on
It's funny that you
to 27.
you reach a certain age where you just forget how old you are or how
Yeah,
old you're
no,
be.
because I have a really close friend of mine whose birthday is on Christmas. And then he turned 27 just on the December 25th, right? And then a couple of days later, just 1 week later, everyone's like, oh, you're 28. I'm like, no, I've only been 27 for...
The only problem I have with that is it's just parents nagging me to get married. It's just, you're turning 30 years old. You're
I
almost
just
30
ignore
years
it.
old.
I just ignore it.
Yeah, but
Are you
Bothered.
dating?
Sorry?
Are you dating? Do you have a girlfriend?
No, I'm not. I'm seeing girls, but I'm not particularly in any relationship because I feel it's limiting what I'm doing now. from what I'm doing right now, training, working, doing this podcast is just gonna take away my sleep time. I would say that I often meet up with girls that I like.
Okay.
There's no commitment here and there.
Okay, so you're a whore. That's what you
No.
are. That's what you are.
I just meet up for coffee.
Right.
Come on.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Oh my god. Okay, so wait, what were we getting at? Okay, so I was in Sydney. My parents see that I'm able to be independent and then handle myself overseas. And then from there, I went to New York. I went to Rome by myself. And
Oh
then,
my goodness.
At this point, I can go wherever I want. And you, despite all your family's tradition and culture, the person that you are now, you can travel on your own.
Yeah.
How did you manage to break away from the culture?
It was a little bit of rebellion at a time. One step at a time. You pick your fights. You don't go all out. I mean, there were so many times where I wanted to just say, I'm moving out and that's it. I'm going to just block everyone and do what I wanted. But like, I didn't want to do that. Like, I wanted to share. And also part of me wanted to show my family that I am not stupid. I am not, because that's all I thought I was growing up. With all the systems they placed me in, whether it was church or school, I was asking too many stupid questions. Even though I was asking some really important questions.
It just struck a nerve in them.
Right. I wanted to show them that, like, I'm not all these things. I'm actually so much more, and I've always been so much more. And I don't think it's just me. I think it's many of us. From a very young age, we know we're not stupid. We know we're special. We know we're important. We know we're very capable. But everyone around with authority, whether it's a teacher or a minister or someone who's older than you, will keep trying to put you in their opinion, your place. They'll say, no, you got to do this only. And then the whole time you're just like, really? Because that was my childhood. The whole time I was like, really? I don't think so. So bit by bit, I chipped away, but I also showed them, hey, mom, look, I'm getting a check because I did this. Like, I got money from this, and you're going to get a bit of money from that.
Proving them wrong and all that.
Right. Like, because in their mind, they're thinking this guy's going to, like, reach a certain age, and then he'll shake it off, and then he'll go to law school. Or, and I never stopped. All the secondary school kids I went to school with, everyone thought, I was just a stupid dreaming kid. And at some point I'll stop daydreaming and I'll wake up and I'll give up, but I've never done that. And I make sure these people are still in my life to see all this. And it's never anything spiteful. It's a testament to show them that every person you put down, they're going to grow into something brilliant and beautiful and vast and crazy and unpredictable right in front of you. And you're not going to escape that because you chose to put them down. Did that answer your question?
That's perfect. I think a lot of young listeners can relate to this. I'm really happy you shared this because, having young listeners, maybe going through the same predicament as you are when you were younger, perhaps they also have that sort of family, and the way you share, how you get through it, I'm really happy that this might be able to help someone out there.
I'm happy you're doing a podcast. Like, I said yes to your podcast before I listened to your podcast. So I'm like, yeah, I'm doing it. Because I listen to podcasts
all the time.
Much.
Who do you listen to?
I listen to Anna Faris, Unqualified. I listen to RuPaul. I listen to a whole bunch of AfterBuzz TV. So, like, every time I'm watching, either The Walking Dead or Game of Thrones, or if I'm watching The Handmaid's Tale, I'll go to the podcast and listen to, their review as they talk about the episode. I'm quite nerdy when it comes to, pop culture. So, and I don't know many Singaporean podcasters.
There's Nathan Hartono.
Sure.
Yeah.
And when you...
And I think Ministry of Funny is doing one.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, but they're doing more of video podcasts. They're doing a podcast, but they're recording it and then putting it on YouTube. I'm not sure if it's on iTunes or whatever.
I like this. I like long form talk, because we don't get to do that in radio. Everything's in 3 minutes and then you play a song. So I love this. I absolutely love this.
Well, I've been trying to find my identity, and I'm still learning because when I did this podcast, the idea is to, first of all, talk with local Singaporeans who have found success. Mm-hmm. I want my listeners to be mainly Singaporeans.
Right.
So, and if they see, these people are from here, from where I was born, and then if they see that, if they are able to achieve success, perhaps they themselves can learn a thing or two, find a craft, or learn from the craft.
That's nice. I mean, I like the way you do your podcast. So I didn't know you were or this podcast before, but then right after you messaged me, I started listening furiously to everything you've done. I listened to Natasha's one, Faka's one's pretty good as well. My good friend Muna. So I play podcasts before I sleep. right? And I know it doesn't sound right. That helps me sleep. But like I like feeling like I got friends with me. You know, like I got fear of the dark. So like I'll play a podcast and just put it under my pillow so that it just sort of like reverberates around my pillow. And I was listening to the Muna one. That one kept me up. I was listening to everything. I mean, look, she's a good friend.
And that was before her closing
Yeah.
show, which is very insightful. I
Mhm.
went to that closing thing with her and Firzi. It was so special.
Brilliant, right?
Yeah, it was brilliant. I felt inspired. I left the theater feeling very inspired.
Oh wait, I need to clear something up. You want some tea? Y'all want some tea? So you had Rauzan Rahman on your podcast.
Rauzan.
So then you said, oh, like, I remember this part. You said, like, oh, that's where all the Muna Hirzi songs come from. Yeah, because he said that he produced a show, right? Like, for the music. And then you told him, like, hey, so that's where I've always wondered where the the parodies came from. I actually produced those.
Oh, okay.
I produced the early ones. So I did, like, Mina Konda. I did The Feeling Myself. I did Bang Bang. I did a whole bunch. But then after that, I stopped. So I think maybe...
the music video.
Yeah, no, I think he took over after that. Fair enough. It's just that when I heard that, I was like, girl, you gonna take all the credit?
I'm pretty sure he didn't mean to.
I went to school with him. Did you know
Rauzan?
that? He didn't bring it up, but like I went to school with him. We were like really close friends for a while.
I mean, don't take it personally.
No.
It just probably didn't pop up in his
I was
head.
just playing.
No. But it's good to know that you had some sort of touch in.
It's not easy though. It's not easy. Like producing is not my thing. So it's great that Rauzan took over because he is someone who's a legit producer. Like Evan worked with Muna Hirzi as well. Evan Chatham. So
Wait. I do want to touch on your music side. You have a couple of singles out, right?
Yeah.
You do singing as well.
Yeah.
And you're like one of the 17 YouTubers in the world who was a part of the Greatest Show.
Oh right, Greatest Showman.
Yeah, Greatest Showman.
Wow, where do we go with this? What do you want to hear?
First of all, I want to know, how do you get involved with the
Greatest
Showman?
Okay, so that one was after Logan. So last year was 2017 was intense.
Wait, Logan Paul or Logan?
Not
Wolverine?
Logan Paul, not Logan Paul. Logan, Hugh Jackman, Sir Patrick, Stewart. So I've been doing interviews for a while. I obviously am a huge nerd when it comes to like movies, music, pop culture, right? So my thing is every time I get an interview, like a celebrity interview, I give it my all. I do a lot of research. I try to bring in a level of honesty and heart to it. And I try to treat them like people, you know, because I'm so used to, and I started off by doing press conferences where you're one journalist in a room of like 100 other journalists and everyone's fighting for a question. That's actually how it's supposed to be. But in Singapore, it's not. In Singapore, Singaporeans are so shy to raise their hand and ask for a question. Usually when the host goes, questions to the audience, and no one raises their hands. So I became known in the media industry, or, well, I don't know what that is, but as the guy who always raised the hand first. And then I'll start the ball rolling. And then I'll treat it like it's a show. So I'll make a joke, and then the audience will laugh a little bit. So I win the celebrities on my side. And then they open up a little bit more. Little things like that. Like I brought James Gunn around Singapore.
Oh, nice.
He's the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, right? So little things like that with my friend Jill. And so I started doing a lot of these interviews. And we started off 2017 with an interview with Hugh Jackman and Sir Patrick Stewart. So Hugh and I had a past. So a couple of years before that, I was at a press conference and I made a joke, and then he took me backstage.
Yeah, I saw the video.
Yeah,
it was in your YouTube.
Yeah, and he poured like water on my head, and he was like, "Let's do a show for them." And then he was like, "Let's pretend I beat you up," and then he brought me out. So when we started Logan last year, it was reuniting with him. And
Did he recognize you?
Yeah, of course. And we just had a good time. We were just talking after that. And then a couple of months later, after a couple of more interviews with other people, I got a call from the same movie company, 20th Century Fox. They were saying that Hugh has this movie called The Greatest Showman that he's been working 7 years on. And there's a song called This Is Me. So it's a movie musical. And we want to fly you up to record the song at Abbey Road. Right, in London, and be in the music video, and then hopefully we can do some interviews as well. So then, ta-da!
Oh, look at you.
That was crazy.
Going places.
London. I'd never been to London then. Yeah, so it was crazy. And then we met then, and then we got to know each other a little bit more. And then end of the year, we wrapped up with another Greatest Showman interview in Sydney. So I met him like 3 times last year. By the 3rd time, it was just fun. We were just like hanging out and talking. And look at the Greatest Showman now. It's like such a huge success. But the whole time when we were recording that song and we were doing the interviews, because I was doing these interviews early before the movies came out, right? So we weren't sure if the movie was going to be a hit, because it's a movie musical, and original movie musical. It hasn't been done in like 23 years. You know, everything like Chicago, Mamma Mia, all those are like existing stuff, you know? So yeah.
So why don't you pursue more of your singing?
I am. So I released 2 singles so far. They were sort of like testing singles. I wanted to... Music is... At the very core, music is my favorite thing in the whole world. It's what brought me out, and it's what started my little rebellion against my family. It was with a Walkman, a radio. A little Walkman in my grandfather's room, and I would listen to the Cranberries. And I was actually the first radio station.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, the first radio station I was actually listening to was Power 98. No one knows this, and I'm not allowed to say it because I'm in KISS, right? I'll give it to you. Like, the first radio station I was obsessed with was Power 98.
And who was at that time?
I don't remember the DJs' names, but like I was always listening to the music and focusing on the music. And so music's my favorite thing, and I wanted to do music for a long time, but I wanted to also observe and see what would help me, because music is my baby. Like, I spent so much time writing the song and putting money to make the song, produce the song, master the song. The last thing I want is for it to go nowhere, right? So like I released those 2 songs to sort of just test the water, see what it's like. So the first song, Murder, that was a collaboration with Bounce Squad, and I wanted to do something very theatrical and loud and crazy and genre bending, and I'm rapping and I'm angry, and it's a concept heavy song, and then the music videos drag like, and it's a bit dirty and filthy, and then people hated it. People absolutely hated it, you know. Maybe like 3 people liked it, you know, but I liked it, and that's what matters. And then the second single was what everyone else wanted me to do, which was a ballad, just a piano, guitar, some violins, and there is that side of me, and I wrote that song, and it's a great song. It's called Paradise. And while Murder was not the big launch that I hoped it would be, Paradise is like 100,000 plays on Spotify, and I had no idea it was 100,000 plays.
Nice.
But my album, which is coming out this year, is one that I've been working so hard on, and it's the one that I wanted to put out before anything else. So now that I've watched and I've listened and I've observed, now I'm actually going to put out who I really am, and it's a solid EP. I was just with DeeKosh last night, and I played him because he's a hard critic, whether it comes to film or music. He's a hard critic, and he's a good friend. So I was in the car, and I played him the EP, and he loved it, and it meant the world for me that he loved it. Not only as a friend, but because he criticizes music so much. He's very particular and very passionate about it. So he turned to me, and he was like, "When you started to," I can't even do the DeeKosh accent, but like he was like, when you first told me you're gonna play the songs, I expected the lowest, and I was blown away. So when he said that, I was like, oh, I'm so excited. I'm actually excited because I really liked it.
Blessings.
I'm really excited for this EP. I can't wait for everyone to hear it, and I think they're gonna like it. There's enough in there for everyone to like.
Okay. Where can they first get to?
It'll be everywhere. It'll be on Spotify and Apple Music. I'm trying to get it everywhere. I at the moment I'm completely independent. I'm paying for all the producers and everything by myself. So all my radio stuff, all the stuff I get from radio work is going into music.
Are you allowed to play your songs on your radio?
No.
Why not?
First of all, that's really gross to do that. Like, hi, I'm joshuasimon. Here's my song.
It's like sucking your own.
No, like, but see, that's the thing. Like, I respect and I understand the industry, and like, there are so many times when like local musicians send us songs to play in the radio station, you know, and sometimes we can't play them, and they need to understand that it's based on the style, like the playlist. Just think of it like Spotify playlist, right? Yep. There's a reason why this song is in this playlist and not the other playlist. It just wouldn't make sense. So Kiss 92 has its own playlist, and this is how the sound is. So I can't put in something that's too obscure or too different, you know, than the other song that we're gonna play next. And my music is not Kiss 92 music at all. It is not like fun teeny boppy or bubblegum or super positive, and I'm not putting that kind of sound down. It's just that, you know, I'm doing something different, and Kiss is doing something different as well.
Okay. Before you were in Kiss, you were in another radio station, right? Hot.
Hot. Well, it's actually sort of the same. Hot FM 91.3. They became 1FM 91.3. Okay, so Hot FM was when I first started off. It was a very pop station. Like, it's kind of like what 97 is, right? So it's very top 40s. And halfway through, they decided to rebrand and turn it into a rock station. So then it became 1FM. And then when it became 1FM, I just don't fit. I love rock music, but rock music, just like hip hop, you need to really know your stuff. I know everything about pop music. I can tell you.
A cup of tea?
See, I don't want to say no, but I also don't want to say yes. Because I love, I love the Cranberries. I love Marilyn Manson.
You love other genres more.
It's also rock, but it's not like the AC/DC and Def Leppards, you know, and a lot of the playlist was built on that. And I think what I'm trying to say is, like, if you want to be a DJ in rock, you need to know who the drummer is. You need to know who the guitarist and the bassist is. Yeah. You need to know the new lineup. Yep. You need to know their past. You need to know their love lives. You need to know all the controversy that happened. I know that about Britney Spears, but I can't tell you that about, like, Buckethead.
It's funny you say that. Every time someone asks me, hey, so what kind of music do you listen to? I can't give them a specific genre because there are only some bands from that genre that I would like.
Right.
I don't like all the bands from that. I can't listen to every song or every kind of music from that genre. For example, I like a lot of metal music, but I like Trivium. There are other metal bands that I don't listen to because I like the sound of Trivium.
Okay, then.
So I usually tell them that there are bands or there are musicians that I like.
Yeah, so what I do is just do the top 5.
Yeah.
So like, who are your top 5 metal bands, and who are your top 5 like pop stars, and who are your top 5 rappers?
Yeah. Oh, so you're asking me or?
I don't know if you want to answer.
You answer that. Who are your top 5 musicians? This is the hardest question to answer.
Top 5 musicians is too vast.
Yeah, it's too vast.
You need to break it down.
Yeah, I need to like take a week to think about it, you know. I need to like get my tea, get my coffee, and then like, you know, narrow it down.
I can tell you. Do you want to do genre, or do you just want to do like top 5 musicians?
Top 5 musicians.
Okay. Number 1, Michael Jackson.
Okay. Fair enough.
Michael Jackson. Because
it's Michael Jackson, yeah. No need to explain.
I'm not even going to rank them. I'm just going to tell you. Okay. Number 1, Michael Jackson. Number 2, Janet Jackson. Okay. 3, Madonna. 4, Bjork. And 5, MIA. So yeah, 5. Okay. And that, I think all of these 5 represent my inspirations and what I draw my
a bit of influence for your style of your
absolutely
music.
From all these 5.
Perfect. When it comes to DJing, which aspect of your job do you enjoy the most?
Just talking. Just doing this right now. See, a lot of people think that radio is all about, hi, I'm Joshuasimon. Coming up, Britney Spears, Meghan Trainor, Justin Bieber. No, it's not like that. I do sound differently. I know that I sound differently. A lot of people, I get it. I don't have like the Singaporean accent. But then again, what is the Singaporean accent? You know, like, and I was going to say just now earlier, like, what I like about your podcast is the way you sound. Because you're the unconventional Singaporean podcaster.
I was thinking whether I should slang myself.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Just do what you're comfortable with. Do what you're comfortable. Do something that's natural for you. Because if it's fake, we can tell straight away. For me, I can do different type of accents. You know, like, it depends.
Like very Malay.
But you see, when I do the accents, right, is based on characters that I know. Like, these are the people that I meet at the soccer court. You know, like, my dad sounds differently, and then North Indian aunts sound differently. You know, like, my North Indian aunts are a little bit more educated, so that's how they sound. It's just a little bit different.
I really appreciate you telling me
this.
I
get be you.
First of all, I get weirded out listening back to myself.
No, you shouldn't. Get used to it. I used to hate doing that, but I had this very small tape recorder when I was growing up, and I thought, like, if I'm gonna do music and film and all these things, I better not hate my voice. So I'm gonna keep recording it and listening back to it. I'm gonna focus on pronunciation rather than accent. And the way I sound is based on an amalgamation of all the movies and TV shows and interviews and things that I listen to, and that's how they sounded. So I started like naturally drawing. That's where I came from. And your accent comes from where the people that you hung out with, the people that you spoke to.
Yep.
You listen to the way they say things, and then that's how you end up saying things.
Yep.
So for me, I was always copying dialogues from movies. I can memorize entire scripts from movies and do it out for you. I can play it out for you. And that was what it was. Little words like, absolutely. I know exactly where that line came from, and that's how it was said. So eventually that just became my accent.
Okay. Do you come up with the Midnight Kiss by Joshua Simon?
No, it's Josh's Goodnight Kiss. And I
Yeah,
hate
yeah.
that name. My boss.
Who's your boss?
Jamie Meldrum. He's from Australia. He's brilliant and I love him. So he knew that just didn't fit 1FM. So he said, you know what, you're going to go to Kiss 92. We're going to give you a lot more interviews. You're going to do an entertainment show because that's what you're good at. You're going to be free to talk about whatever you want. You can play whatever you want. And that's what I love about my boss. Absolutely love about my boss. He understands me. He knows where I can excel in and he lets me do that. Under one condition, it's going to be Josh's Goodnight Kiss. Mic drop. Mic drop. Yeah.
What was your initial reaction when you heard the name?
No.
But you had no say.
No.
It wasn't your hill to die on.
I was like, no, can I come up with a name and let you know by tomorrow? He's like, no. Okay then.
Okay. Being a DJ is your job.
Yes.
And you currently pursue a bit of singing here and there, and you have an album coming up soon. You have your own YouTube show, Yas TV.
Yeah.
You are currently juggling all this at the same time, or
Yeah. None of those are hobbies. None of them is work.
it's just you and
Everything is what I do and everything is what I love doing. I think it's silly when people say,
They can only do one thing at a time.
well, they'll ask you, what do you do for a living? You know, because they want to know what you do that gets you money, right? What do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a cameraman. But maybe you like doing other things. Maybe who you are as a person is doing other things. And you're also doing those things, but you don't dare to say it because you're not earning money from those things. But those are things that make you happy. I think it's silly. You should be able to do everything and all that at once. There are enough hours in a day to chase 700 dreams at the same time and still be able to use deodorant and find someone cute and go on a date and get coffee. There is enough time. The more we keep boxing things up and saying this is a hobby, but Josh's real job is radio and everything else is I'm getting money everywhere. And I make sure I make a business out of all the other things as well.
Basically, you're the Joshua Simon, the brand.
I am joshuasimon, the human being who wants to do a lot on his time on Earth, you know? So he's just going to do that, and everyone else can call it what they want to.
Okay, I'm going to shoot a bit of some random questions to you.
Okay.
Just to...
like speed
we're
round?
going to ride to the sunset for the podcast.
Right to the sunset?
Right off to the sunset.
Oh, is this... Are we ending?
It's over 40 minutes. Are you
kidding?
Yeah, we've talked for 40 minutes.
No way. I feel like we're just getting started.
No, we've talked
Everyone listening is like, get out.
We've talked for 40 minutes. No, but it's really good material, you know. Okay.
Let's go.
What is your next hair color?
I don't know. I am just so happy to have hair.
You said you choose it according to your mood, or
No. Look, I am just so happy to have a head full of hair. I like male pattern baldness and hair fall runs in my family. And I grew up with my hair falling out all the time. I grew up with crazy curly hair that I would pull, that I was trying to straighten, that I was trying to rebond because I wanted to look like everyone else. I damaged my hair so much when I was a kid that by army time, I shaved it all off. If you dig enough, at the start of my career, I was completely bald. I had no hair and I kept shaving it off because I was so afraid to show people my hair, and I kept praying to God. I kept asking, like, God, I want a full head of hair. I've done so much research on trying to grow your hair back. I've done Propecia. I've gone on Propecia. I've done minoxidil. I've gone for herbal treatments. I've gone for packages. I've done everything. Right now I'm working with a trichologist who's brilliant, and she's a good friend of mine, and she's helped me to regrow my hair to a point where I can color my hair and bleach my hair and dye my hair. But I'm also putting on hair mask and going for treatments to make sure that it stays strong. Anytime someone says, hey, I like your hair, or anytime someone says your hair looks like, can I curse?
Yeah, go ahead.
Anytime someone says your hair looks like shit, it looks like pubic hair, it looks like a bird's nest.
When you say curse, I thought like you're gonna give like a
F word.
proper curse word. I just said shit.
I was just gonna say shit because that's not allowed on radio, so I'm just very careful. Every time there's a mic in front of me, I'm like,
say
shit. Oh my god, that felt great. That felt great. But yeah, anytime someone makes fun of my hair, it just rolls off me. Every compliment rolls off me because I know what it's like to have no hair. I know what it's like to have your hair fall off in the shower when you're washing your hair and you just see hair just flowing down in the water below you. Like, I know what that feels like. So I'm just grateful to have hair. It's not easy, but it's also not as shameful as people put it out to be.
Okay.
So I don't know what I'm going to do to my hair. We'll see. Because I mean, I like the hair that I have now. I like that it's light. I might want to bleach my roots, but I don't know how many times I can bleach it before it gets bad. So we will figure it out.
What was your favorite toy growing up?
Wow. No one's ever asked me that. I told you about the tape recorder that I used to just play around with. I would just like reenact movie scenes.
Okay.
So I would pretend to be Poison Ivy from Batman and Robin, or Catwoman from Batman Returns. I'm that cliche gay guy. And I would just try to redo those things and then play it back, and I'll play it to my friends. So maybe that would be a toy. But yeah, I guess that counts.
Does your parents know about your sexuality?
Was that on your list, or did he just...
No. It wasn't, because you mentioned... I mean, you just...
I'm pretty sure they know. But we have not talked about it.
We haven't had
We had a really intense situation that happened when I was in army between my dad and I. We're about to go deep again, but I'm going to go really quick with this story, okay? Because I know you're running out of time. I came back from army camp one day, and then my dad cornered me in the kitchen, and I was in my number 4, and he was like, "Are you gay?" And I just froze. Like, that day has come where I have to answer this question. And I just said, "No, but I'm not straight. I'm 21. I will figure it out. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm not straight, and I'm not gay, and I don't have an answer for you." And then he said, "If you don't have an answer, it means you're gay." And I got so angry. And then I just started, this is where the cussing comes, right? I was like, and to my dad, I said, "Everyone in your church is fucked up. Everyone is fucked up. But that's why we have churches. That's why you're a pastor, because you're there for the people who are fucked up. And you need to know you're fucked up too. We're all fucked up. We don't know what's right and wrong, but we go where our heart feels right. And right now, I'm not dating anyone, but I do like boys. So we'll see." And that was it. And then we never really talked about it again.
Do you still talk now, or...?
To my dad? Yeah, we're good. We're close friends. It's not like, no, he doesn't.
I think it takes a while.
He's not looking at my grinder, but we're good friends. But we've not talked about it. But every time my aunt or anyone says, "Hey boy, getting married soon, Getting married, Are you dating anyone? Just now I saw your Instagram, you post one heart, Whose hand you're holding, I would just say, "Not a girl." I'll just like shake it off.
Okay. Tell me about one friend of yours that you're most proud of.
My ex-boyfriend. He's my closest friend, and he's the most important person in my life, and he's the only person I can think of putting on my will. Okay. And it's my ex-boyfriend, and we're still really close friends. I've only been with I've only had like one proper boyfriend, and that was him, and we lasted about 3 years. It was those very, very important years. It was when I was in army. It was when I first got my job. He knew what it was like when I had no money, when I couldn't travel anywhere. Like people in relationships, they go to like Italy and Paris and Rome, and they go to Thailand and Japan. Like, we couldn't go to those places. We went to like Batam on like a Groupon. That was our relationship. I had no money.
Rest in peace, Groupon.
Is it not around anymore?
I'm really not sure.
I don't see it anymore, right? But like, that was our relationship. And so when we broke up, it was tough. It broke me. But then I went back to him and I just said, like, you're my best friend, and there's gonna be a point where we're old people, and you're gonna be my only link to my past. You are the only one who knew what it was like. So you're my constant, and I want you to be my best friend, and you're going to stay my best friend. And we still keep that close friendship. And I'm very close with his boyfriend, so I'm very proud of him. I'm proud of myself for this.
You guys are very adults. There's no like, I unfollow you from Facebook.
No,
I unfollow you from Instagram.
No. Well, I don't follow him on Instagram. He's such a whore. Like, his Instagram, because he's like really fit. Like, he's like got 6 packs and like abs and everything. And his entire Instagram is everything I despise about Instagram. Like, he is so disgusting. And I tell him off about it, but he's gonna keep doing what he does.
You've met a lot of celebrities, and you've met a lot of people. If you could live one person's life in the world, who would it be? Like,
be that celebrity?
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to live their life. I mean, I would want to be their friend.
Beyonce?
No? Wait, is this someone that I've interviewed, or someone just in general? Oh, in general? Wow, who would I want to hang out with? I love Rose Mcgowan. She's an actress that I followed since I was 7 years old, and she's very instrumental right now with the Me Too movement, and she's been fighting for that for a very long time. And I love her. It probably would be tough though. I want to think of someone that I can like just enjoy hanging out with. without it getting too serious.
Probably Mark Zuckerberg.
No. How can I get my page verified? I really don't know, man. I feel like I would have an answer for you if I really thought through. But I can't think of anyone.
For me,
can I just say, like, celebrities? Sorry?
A millionaire or billionaire, you know? You have access to money.
I don't like that. Can I tell you why I can't tell? I find celebrities very intimidating. I find aesthetically beautiful people very intimidating and very scary. And when I go for these interviews, like, I've interviewed some of the most beautiful people in the world. I've interviewed Ryan Reynolds. I've interviewed Charlize Theron, Jessica Chastain, Katy Perry, Hugh Jackman, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, you met Joe Jonas, right?" But like when I meet them, I just treat them like people, and I don't want to think about the lavish lifestyles or the money
that they are on or whatever.
Yeah, I don't want to do that, because that only makes me feel more distant to myself. You know, so how would I feel the day after this? I get to be the celebrity for one day, and then I go back to being me. Will I start hating myself? Will I start putting myself down? So I don't think I want to. I don't know.
I like how you have an approach to things. Like, oh, I'm talking to this celebrity. Maybe I should do this. I like that you have
I pray a lot.
Situation.
That's it. I just pray.
You know, but it's like very strategic, you know, and I guess
it's actually not, though. Like, it looks strategic. It looks like, whoa, Josh, you asked the right questions. But I didn't really plan those questions. I had like a list of things where I felt based on what I read, not just like read based on online, but like read like their spirit, like the way they are, you know. Like, I pick up on their energy, you know, like, okay, then maybe I won't ask this question. So it happens very automatically. Like, I have a whole bunch of questions in front of my phone, on my phone. But then, like, as the interview happens, I'll just be like, in my mind, I'm like, not going to do this. And it just clicks to something else. So I'm just trying to go with it. Like you see, right now, we didn't plan this conversation, you and I. We didn't come here saying we're going to talk about this. We had an idea. But then when we started, did I know that we were going to start off with my horrendous night? See,
no.
And you found a way to just sort of weave in, because we're having a conversation, and our brains are capable of doing that. It's not strategic.
I've reached the point where I'm very comfortable with my podcast that I can do this.
And that's a fun feeling, right?
My podcast with Natasha and Farhan Shah, the first 2 podcasts that I did this way, you know, where I just, fuck my questions. I'm going to cast my question aside and just get to know them while talking to them.
Yeah.
Okay. Just finally, what advice would you give to younger Singaporeans or younger listeners listening to this podcast?
I've got advice for the older crowd as well.
Okay. So just advice in general, because you've obviously gone through a lot. I'm pretty sure everyone goes through a lot, but you know, if there's something that you can say to them, you know, to help them go through a dark time or a dark period in their life, you know,
just really open your eyes, and not just your eyes. Open your ears, touch, feel, smell, look at everything in front of you and ask yourself, is this really that big of a problem? Is this really that difficult of a dream to achieve? Is this really that big of a deal? And then think. Because I do that a lot. I have conversations with myself constantly. Every time there's something tough, every time I get rejected by someone, or I get a great opportunity, or I get a bonus, or I lose a lot of money, or I lose my phone, I look at what's in front of me and I really think about it. In the grand scheme of things, is this really that big of a deal? Why am I getting so emotionally affected by it that it's affecting my health? It really is not. You should be able to do what you want. You should be able to question your identity. You should be able to shift parts of yourself and adapt and move and shake off whatever anxiety, whatever it is that's blocking you from doing what you want. Whatever your inner saboteur is saying, you're not good enough, you're not this and that. Like, do you really need to listen to that guy? Do you really need to hang out with these friends? Do you really need to continue smoking? Do you really, like, you gotta ask yourself these things. And these are wake up calls that goes to young people and older people, everyone. Like, I have so many people who are like 30s, hitting their 30s. They got kids now, and they think this is the end. They think like, oh, everything that I always wanted as a kid, gone, done. No, it's not. It's not. So many people say that. I've hit 30 already. I can't do this anymore. No, it's not. Really think about it.
Thank you. Well,
that was okay. It was like, thank you.
I was trying to think of something to say to end off the podcast.
Okay.
But we've hit.
That was brilliant. Thank you.
Officially hit 50. 4 minutes.
Yeah, we've set a record.
Thank you. We've set a record. Yeah. So
I hope everyone enjoyed this.
I'm really proud of this podcast because I really got to break you down to a personal level, and then we get to really speak openly on this podcast.
And I get to be on the other side, which is kind of fun. It's kind of exhilarating.
Instead of always be the one asking the questions.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
We should do a podcast where I'm interviewing you.
What?
I get to know you more.
I'm not there yet in the public eye.
Don't be ridiculous. All of us have stories. All of us are qualified enough to have our stories be told.
Yeah, I know that's true. And people think when they see my podcast, oh, you only interview celebrities and no, I've interviewed paranormal investigator. I've interviewed,
There's no such thing as celebrities. There's no such thing as famous people. We're just people, and we all have
stories to share.
We all have lives, and that's it. That's it. It's worth telling.
Thank you so much for really opening up and making this podcast. When you approached me, you were like, this podcast is going to be the best podcast ever.
It is.
Think of some stuff, bring some grapes along.
Yeah, you're going to feed me grapes because you're hot and fit, and I like that. No, I'm kidding. I go into everything wanting the best. I go into every interview saying, I want to do the best interview.
That's how it should be.
I want to have the best podcast from everyone else. And it's not like narcissistic. It just means like I know myself, and I know I'm going to bring something to it that it's going to help people, and it's going to help me. As I'm telling you these things, as I'm talking on this podcast, I'm talking to myself, and I'm listening to things from my subconscious that I don't get to hear consciously. So I'm growing from this podcast.
Can you give some plugs for when people can get your music and and all that?
Okay, just find me on Instagram. I feel like that's like my favorite thing right now. I love Instagram.
At joshuasimon.xl.
joshuasimon.xl, and when my new music comes out or when there's new anything, you'll hear about it on my Instagram.
Also, and catch your YouTube channel at Yas TV. YAAAS TV.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being in this podcast.
Thanks for having
Number
me.
19.